Huey's producer, that made the Pop Lock and Drop beat. Was he part of like, I guess like you said, y'all had the Trak Starz Production. Was his producer under that also?
Yeah, so Popo, he wasn't necessarily, so when he did Pop Lock and Drop It with Huey, he wasn't under us at that time. Now, I was close with his manager, and this goes back again to Dodie, the one that I told you earlier with the Out of Order days who discovered us. Like, so Dodie, you know what I'm saying, he's talented, you know what I'm saying, so he has a way to knowing how to discover talent, produce. He's always been like that, finding producers, artists. To me, that's always been his gift. So he found Popo, and he started managing Popo. And that was around the time that Poe, you know what I'm saying, was in the midst of doing the Huey Pop Lock and Drop It. So what we did as the Trak Starz is, after they did Pop Lock and Drop It, we basically helped them get a publishing deal. So we took them under our wing and umbrella as the Trak Starz, because we already had a deal with Universal Music. And we flew them up to LA at the time where we were at, and brokered in a publishing deal. So we took that and basically, you know, just helped them with the business end of it, you know, some type of thing.
Yes. Was it the deal with Universal? Was it like a distribution or just like a joint, like where you had the Trak Starz records? What made you, because this after, you know, Jackpot, and you kind of, you know, like you say, you went on to do your own thing, try to discover more artists, local acts in a sense. What made you choose Universal?
Well, okay, let me clear that up too a little bit. So Universal Rondor Music is a publishing company.
Gotcha.
That was actually for just publishing.
Gotcha.
Black Ground Records was actually signed to Universal at the time we did the deal. So Trak Starz Music was signed under Black Ground Universal, and Universal Rondor Publishing was our publishing company.
Gotcha.
And that's who, we didn't sign Popo to Trak Starz Music with Barry Hankerson and Black Ground. We did a publishing deal through Universal Rondor. Gotcha. And that's when the Suge Knight incident happened, and we'll talk about that later, but that's how all that's connected, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, kind of, you know, fast forward, just stay in this moment for a little bit, like for us, you trying to find local acts. Today, why don't you think that St. Louis has had, you know, another breakthrough artist since, you know, the Nelly, the Chingy, Jaquan, even Huey, since that time? I mean, we had artists like, current artists like, you know, we got Smino, I guess Smino.
Yeah, Smino,
SZA, with like, for like local, like with the 33 Grammys and Sexy Red and Yvette, those kind of, you know, getting a name, but why haven't we had that, like, to this level where Chingy and Nelly has had with their success, all that notoriety?
Me personally, and I'm glad you asked me that, because that's something that we've been meeting and talking about for years. Being a producer and somebody that's been around like talented artists my whole life, and getting the opportunity to actually see how the music industry works from the inside, to me, I think one of the problems is that you have the record industry. To me, is based off of hit records. Period. Master P said it best. He said, "You haven't been in the music industry until you had a hit record." So I think the struggle comes from that. When you had Chingy, for example, you had us. We already came from a lot of hit records, the whole nine, such. You had J.E., you had D2, who was a lot of creative people over there. You had Tallboy and Joe, who was the Track Boys with Quan. So a lot of artists at that time, even Jibbs. Jibbs had the Beasters, which was Reese Beast, his brother DJ. So at that particular time, the artists had teams of real producers around them. You know what I'm saying? And we were really constructing records to compete with the music industry. And I think the problem is today is that it's not enough of us anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got artists that's getting beats off YouTube, you know, and no disrespect, like I ain't one of them type of dudes that be like, I'm gonna get on what the young dudes doing, because I don't believe in that. I believe in evolution. Like, things are always going to evolve, whether you like it or not. But I will say, it's beyond just putting a ski mask on and dreads and just holding up a bunch of pistols and jumping in the studio and making a record. I'm gonna even say this: when you look at Chief Keef, which my guy Noah Universe, who was an artist that we work with, and shout out to Noah Universe, man, he'll tell you that before Chief Keef started popping, I was watching Chief Keef, and I remember going back to Noah Universe, and I was like, bro, this kid Chief Keef out of Chicago finna go. And at that same time, he was doing the same drill music as you hear today. But what was different with Chief Keef to me, and even King Von, is that they was gangster dudes, because I don't want to take away your struggle. Whatever you go through is what you go through. But they was gangster dudes, but they still was making music. Even if they diss you in the record, it still sound good. You know what I'm saying? Don't like, even King Von, I always say this. King Von went into the studio and said, you know what? I'm going to tell stories with my rap. Shout out to DJ Chop Squad. You know, that was all DJ and Chop Squad with that. So, who was from St. Louis. So, Von went in the studio and said, I'm going to tell a story. And I'm going to use this different cadence to get my issue off. It was a block on the stripper chin. She's from Tennessee. Like, it was a different flow he had. And then he told a story, so it was creative. So, you can be gangster, you can be what you want to be, but you still got to make records that can compete in the industry. Mm-hmm. That's why I got respect for Dirk. I got respect for these guys because they're making records. And to me, that's the difference. Now, well, you might get an underground buzz in the following. Yeah. But will it translate into the music industry globally is what the question is. So to me, I think that's the problem. I just don't think it's enough production around these people that's building these records to say, hey, bro, we got to make some songs. I know we got ops over here. I know we got problems in the streets, but this is a business and we have to make songs to compete.